thread. What concept completely blows your mind? That until the invention of the train, no one had been able to travel faster than a horse on land. When was the train invented? I don't know. Also, until trains, no one really needed a consistent time. The difference between 130 and 150 was largely inconsequential. Well, until you have several tons of steel hurtling down a track and two of them try to occupy the same space and time. It wasn't uncommon for different clocks in town to display different times until the railroad came through. Yes, I get that marine time needed accurate clocks to navigate. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is synchronized clocks. Clock A has the same time as place clock B 200 miles away. For marine time stuff, that doesn't matter as long as everyone can accurately judge the X amount of time has passed. Example, if my clock reads 10:10, if you're reading 10:15 and 20 minutes later, mine reads 10:30 and yours reads 10:35, you will not get lost at sea. Also, fixed an auto-correct word. People were actually worried about the damages of traveling at such high speeds on the human body. The actual damage occurs when you stop suddenly. Suddenly starting can be just as bad. Stopping suddenly is just starting suddenly in the opposite directions. You expect me to believe no Africans ever rode a cheetah? I seriously wonder if that ever really has happened. It's way too small to support the weight of a person. What if it was a tiny person or a baby? Maybe once there was a midget chief of a tribe who rose to power through the mastery of cheetah. Skiing. I'm sure a horse could ski faster than a human if we teach it properly. One for each hoof. The concept of the observable universe. The fact that the reason we can't see a certain range into space being because the light hasn't had time to get to Earth since the beginning of the universe is crazy to me. Oh, wow. The universe is so big that... Never even thought of it like that. So you mean the universe is buffering for us? But the fucking ads never buffer. Holy shit, is that what that means? I never gave it much thought, but I always assumed observable universe just to be the furthest we can accurately see before the information becomes too small or distorted by the great distance. If you have time, Google it. Down the rabbit hole you go. Shit is amazingly crazy. Damn. How many videos there are on YouTube. It's fucking crazy how many videos there are. On a related note, it blows my mind that some YouTubers have so many subscribers that the numbers are equal to and above the population of small countries. Oh, that's true. Like PewDiePie has like almost 30 million now or something. Well, I have more subscribers than there are people in all of the country of Sealand. You may send fan mail and gifts to my P.O. Box. Sealand population 1. 300 hours of videos are uploaded to YouTube every minute. I can believe that. How all of the roads work in terms of everything being connected up each other. To put it another way, that there is a continuous line of asphalt from Anchorage to Miami that wasn't there even 60 years ago. You can walk across the United States without touching a blade of grass. Damn, there are a lot of roads. Anchorage to Miami is nothing. Try South Africa to Sweden to Singapore. I will, thanks. Is it paved the whole way? Bring trail mix. The amount of books in a bookstore and the time they each must have taken to be thought, written, edited, published, etc. The fact that every book is just a different combination of the same 26 letters. I think it's cool that when you enter a bookstore, you can potentially be surrounded by every word in the English language, especially if they sell dictionaries. Also, the amount of code running on your computer. It's like having a library in your home, but where everything written by thousands of authors, most of whom never met each other, works together as part of a unified whole. Speech and language. Watch as I move my mouth and tongue a certain way, release noises from my mouth, and somehow they come together for understanding and being able to get certain emotions and responses in return. Absolutely, especially when comparing English to a language I don't understand. I'll hear a fluent speaker rattling off a series of totally alien sounds, and it occurs to me that to a lot of people's brains, those meaningless noises carry all the same weight as English does for me. Wild. Javo que c'est azes interessant quand o ye pense. Quit your jibber jabber. I don't know what language that was. How we as a species can keep track of our history. You never hear ants talking about the great termite wars of the 1980s. To be fair, if you do hear ants, it's about time to call an exterminator or a psych ward. Doctor, I hear them, the ants. They crawl through the walls all day, talking shit about me. Why are ants such assholes? Coming into movie theaters 2015, Ant-Man. That there's other people out there besides myself, living and breathing, and there has been for who knows how many years, and each person has their own history and their own thoughts and experiences and hobbies, and for them, that's all they know. The concept that human consciousness has not evolved to capture reality, but rather to interpret it in ways that contribute to our survival. This recent TED Talk sums it up nicely. When you realize the gravity of what is being presented, it blows my mind. Sounds a lot like solipsism. I can't even say that word. It's really cool. Accuracy is less important than efficiency for survival. More than a few researchers believe that autism is a disorder where people care way more about accuracy than efficiency. People with autism literally have a more accurate perception of reality than non-autistic people. And as a result, they have a really low threshold for getting confused at what's happening around them. People who write code for software/hardware. When I'm struggling to get something right in Photoshop, then I start thinking about the people who put the software together and how on earth they did it when I can't even make a tuxedo fit properly on a cat. Coder here. It's some cool shit, but don't forget programmers aren't written by solitary coders. It took a massive team of coders and debuggers, many years of research and development to get it done. Many minds helped with innovations in progress. Moral of the story is, enslave your family to help put that tuxedo on Mr. Whiskers. Sleeping. The Shire fact that living organisms doze off into a state of peaceful recharging, and that it feels so amazing. Thanks to subscribing to Shire Facts, did you know that Maradik Brandybuck's name was actually Calamic Brandigama? What? You can fall out of love with someone. Going from being so happy together to miserable in a short amount of time is dumbfounding. There are two great tragedies in life, not getting what you want and getting it. It's worse when you can't stop loving them, even though they've fallen out of love with you. Hang in there, buddy. I feel your pain. That your driveway is connected to every single road on your continent, and many connecting continents, North and South America, Europe and Asia, Eurasia and Africa. And then there's poor Australia. Australian here, we can circumnavigate the entire country/continent on one road. Longest single connected road in the world. As a bonus, we have the second longest straight road as well, and drop bears. The Pan American is technically 2 roads. The infinity of space. Related, the age of space. Age of space is like 4 billion years, right? No? Oh, I was thinking of the age of the Earth. 14 billion. That sounds about right. How specific areas can ridiculously increase the values of properties. There are castles that cost less than NYC apartments. My area is really bad, not a huge city. But then people comment on how beautiful it is and how great the weather is, and I just say, yeah, but we pay for it. Combination of those factors above, plus limited areas to build in, and restrictions on development in general, and it makes sense. It sucks, but it makes sense. It blows my mind that the overwhelmingly vast majority of my hand is empty space. What? And the overwhelming majority of that wall is empty space, but I can't put my hand through that wall. The fact that a spacecraft is flying by Pluto and sending back high-res images is incredible. And half the time, I can't even get enough signal to send a text. Also the fact that it's been in space so long that Pluto was reclassified from a planet to a dwarf star. And also, Pluto couldn't complete one trip around the sun in the time it was discovered, to being stripped of its planet title. Damn, that takes a long time for it to circle the sun. Time. I'm only 24, and I feel like I've been alive for a huge amount of time. Thinking about how I still have, if I'm lucky, another 50 to 60 years ahead of me, it's mind-blowing. Don't get too comfy, it flies. We don't have much time. We're made of meat. Yes, meat. What's more, it's thinking meat. That the universe did not necessarily need to exist. Like, there might just never have been anything at all, ever. It's been widely regarded as a bad move. Elective C-sections. You can make an appointment and one day walk into a hospital and have someone slice your belly open and pull a baby out. You can know months ahead of time the exact day and approximate time your baby will be born. Just blows my mind in comparison to waiting into labor where you can have an estimated due date, but really, you're full term at 37 weeks in there. And here, they let you go 2 weeks overdue, so it's around 5-week window that the baby can choose to come in. And even once you are in labor, it could take days, so you still can't have a baby. It'll be born on X date. It's just a mess. Mess of reading. I was induced at 38 weeks when I had my twins, and I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that this huge, life-changing event was going to occur. But it being scheduled like that felt no different from making a hair appointment. Except that afterwards, I'm responsible for the well-being of 2 new humans, and my life would never be the same again. Time is relative. Like, I can't fathom that time continues at different rates at different locations. I feel a second here should equal a second next to a black hole. See Interstellar. Makes you think that if humanity did manage to colonize other planets, it would be a logistical nightmare. Not only that, but length is also relative, meaning the shape of everything you see isn't constant. Things change size depending on how fast they're moving relative to the speed of light. The thing that always got me was how an observer on Earth could see the distance from the Earth to some planet in space as, say, 60 light years away, and an astronaut traveling at close to the speed of light would observe that same distance to maybe 40 light years. Length contradiction is what really blows my mind. If you run fast enough, you can get a 10-foot ladder and a 9-foot shed. Martin Luther King Jr. and Anne Frank were born in the same year. Oh, what? Yes, 3... And also Barbara Walters, yes. 3 people whose major accomplishments belong to 3 very different time periods. And Bob Newhart, and both died because of racism. Actually, MLK was killed by a bullet. I said because, not by. MLK was killed because bullet. I don't think Jewish is a race. They both died of bigotry and intolerance, though. It was to Nazis, race's subjective construct. From Postertron. Freeman, an earlier sketcher blog, proposed an interpretation of the position as an electron moving backwards in time. What? I don't want to read that. That seems like a lot of big words. The concept of sound speakers. Sometimes I just can't believe we can actually record sound and play it later, and somehow my speaker can emit that same sound. That light travels at the same speed relative to you no matter what speed you're traveling. Light postulate. Light is still traveling the same absolute speed. You just travel through time differently, so light's measured speed is still c no matter how fast you're moving. The light may be moving only 1 mile per faster than you, and an outside observer could see that, but you would experience it as if you were moving away from you at c. Okay. That people all around the world can see this comment. Some people can go out, socialize with strangers, make new friends, and get laid simply because they feel like it. Some people are capable of doing this in middle school Some people can try very hard at timber, but only finding themselves being used as a pizza delivery man. The concept of the multiverse. This very second, my twin could probably be having sex with the hottest supermodels of that representative universe. If you accept that other you in another universe is fucking the hottest supermodel in the world, you also have to accept that in a third universe, you're in a threesome with your parents. And in many universes, you were never born, and your parents were never even born, and human society is completely different or doesn't even exist. Literally, infinite possibilities. Another crazy concept is that while it covers infinite possibilities, it fails to cover all possibilities. What do you mean? Just because the reality can exist doesn't mean it does exist. That there are people who have the knowledge to build technology that can controllably accelerate two atoms at 300 million meters per second, precisely collide them together, and collect massive amounts of data from it. Seriously blows my mind. This one kinda hit me a while ago. I was playing Super Smash Bros. On my 3DS with some guy from Japan, and I realized, wait, by pushing this tiny piece of plastic down a millimeter on this device, not physically attached to anything, I'm affecting what is appearing on some other guy's screen on his same device on the opposite side of our planet almost instantly. Seriously, that's amazing. Russian roulette. Only if you lose. YOLO, you only lose once in Russian roulette. When you compress a spring, it weighs slightly more due to the potential energy increase. What? Wait, what? Whoa. Maybe I'm jaded, but it took me a lot of scrolling to find something that blew my mind. I'm not sure if I believe that. You don't really have to. Your opinion affects reality very little. Dreams. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Let your dreams be dreams. Don't do it yesterday. You said tomorrow. But tomorrow you said now. Don't let your memes be dreams. If you had even seen my dreams, you wouldn't have said that. Just do it. Well done. You fucking did it. This shit takes the cake. I just wish people were interested in them. How are they not? My nights consist of me closing my eyes and waking up with nothing but black in between. I'm 22, and the last time I remember having a dream was about 15 years ago, maybe. I just want to know what it's like again. A lot of people who are very uncreative don't dream every night. That I can have a child whom I care for and raise and teach and love, and then when I get old, the tables will turn and she'll take care and love me as I die. But from ages 13 to 17, she'll hate you. Can confirm. M16. The Fermi paradox. When you look up in the sky and see a star, this means that millions of light years away, billions of years ago, a light emitted a photon. That photon traveled the vast vacuum of space for billions of years, and it's just now hitting your eyeball. The Milky Way is only 100,000 light years across. If you're seeing something million light years away, it's not a star. Solipsism, of course this would show up. It's already showed up a couple other times, people just didn't know the name of it. Is the view or theory that the self is all that can be known to exist. Or, similarly, the brain in a vat theory. Basically says that you could theoretically be a brain in a jar being fed electrical impulses to stimulate reality and would never know the difference. Or you could be derived of all stimulation, and in an attempt to compensate, your brain could hallucinate reality. If being a brain in a vat means spending an inordinate amount of time on Reddit and browsing transfer rumors and dank memes, then I'm happy, TBH. It's a little sad that my brain is making all this stuff up but refuses to give me the best possible experience. Time. When you take a moment to think about it, time is a very trippy concept.